Hello, everybody, and welcome to this brand new episode on the Parenting Truth and Dare podcast. I'm your host, Ritika Subhash, and it is an absolute honor for me to introduce our guest today. Yes, we are starting again with a new round of guest series, and our first guest in this series is Mr. Shaji Prabhakaran. So, welcome, sir. Welcome to this podcast.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So I know you very well, but for the benefit of all our listeners and viewers, I'm going to do a brief introduction with your permission.
Yeah, please.
So Mr. Shaji is the executive committee member of the Asian Football Confederation and South Asian Football Federation. He has spent more than 30 years in different capacities within the domestic as well as international sports, right from working in the National Federation to the international governing body of football, FIFA. He worked with the World Football's governing body, FIFA, as its regional head for South and Central Asia. He's a leading sports professional football administrator in India. And really, in my experience also, he's a rare person who's giving his expertise and his experience and his guidance to this very, very beloved sports of football in our country. Mr. Shaji is the former Secretary General and also the national team's director with the AIFF. He's also the architect of Vision 2047, the strategic roadmap on Indian football, which the governing body AIFF unveiled on 7th January 2023. He was the president of Football Delhi Soccer Association for more than 5 years. And right now, he's taking up the role as the Secretary General of AIFF, All India Football Federation, since September 22. He has made a huge impact in the exposure that he's brought to football in Delhi and even beyond. And he's professionally managed the association within a very short span of time. He has been part of the local organizing committee of the FIFA Under-17 World Cup India 2017, and he was involved in every aspect of the World Cup from the day one. So I can go on because there is just so many feathers in your cap, but a big welcome to you, Shaji sir. And thank you for talking to our parents today. As a parent of a child who is a soccer player and is really looking forward to growing in this sport, I think it is very important for parents of our generation to understand this importance of sport that somewhere I think in our modern living, it is actually taking a backseat. So I wanted to actually talk to you about your journey. How did you come in contact with football and how did that journey start for you?
I was very fortunate. It's a very good question. I was really fortunate that where growing up since the age of 8, I started football because the football pitch was very near to my house, which was just 500 meters away, and we could see, many playing, and then we started to be part of it, and then it never, there's since the age of 8, it continues. Though at that time where I was growing up, there was no form of coaching, guidance, mentorship, nothing. It was very unorganized, unstructured because it was a very remote place, uh, part of Bengal. It's a Duars area. And yeah, but I can say that very lucky to get introduced to the game at very early age, and we fell in love, and that continues. That journey continues, and I'm really lucky that way that I've chosen the right sport, and lucky to survive this long. Because of the passion, because of the involvement, and whatever I am today, it is all because of football.
Absolutely. I thoroughly agree with that. But I'm also very curious to know, you mentioned that you grew up in an area with very little resources. But it was in Bengal, right? So you have that benefit of being in one of the most football crazy states of our country. But what was your parents' role in this entire equation? Because when you started showing interest, was it more like a hobby, something that every kid does? But did they feel that this is something you can make a career out of?
Like our environment was very different and difficult because the place we been staying there, brought up, like 70% of the children were not going to school, a
Hmm.
very tribal area, and therefore it was very tough for parents, for my parents,
Mm-hmm.
uh, to give that focus to us. Yeah, they were reluctant in terms of putting say giving the best in terms of okay giving all the freedom to choose only sport.
Hmm.
That was not the case because say I'm talking about this 40 years back thing, yeah,
Hmm.
and then it was difficult, but somehow they understood that that we both brothers are loving the sport, and therefore we, they have to push whatever way they can support us. They have
Hmm.
supported, and though it was difficult for them because the whole environment, the ecosystem around was not favorable, and it was not that easy for them to give us that freedom to go out, all alone and play and move out of home.
Yeah.
And that was tough. And but they understood at the right time, I can say, with a lot of say, like I was very adamant
Yeah.
uh, with that. This is what I love, and when choosing the career also, I was adamant that okay, no, they wanted me to be pursuing engineering and all, but then after a year. I have to change my track again
Yeah.
and to become part of the sport. But then they have given their best support as soon as they come to know that uh, this is my interest, and they supported me.
So actually, that also brings me to a very interesting piece of the puzzle, which is the education system, right? So one thing is parents being on the same page with children, but sometimes the education system is also not fully aligned with how to support children who want to pursue sports to a greater degree. So, what was your experience then as a student yourself? And have you seen that evolve or change over a period of time, looking at our generation right now and children who are in schools? Is there a difference in terms of the school's approach as well?
I can say that I was again lucky there when I was studying in Kendra Vidyalaya, and there from beginning our sports teachers were very encouraging,
Hmm.
and my role models were those sports students, seniors, yeah, and that way we I was only doing sports, while I was in the school also. But then, it is again depends. What in my experience, I can say that our education system doesn't support sports in a way it should be,
Hmm.
because sports, after all, is an education itself, and that is where that integration has not happened so far, and
Hmm.
that is where the child and the parents also struggle because the school has a very different focus, though they say that they are trying to be holistic,
Hmm.
but then sports is only encouraged for all those who are might be bringing something for the school, maybe winning some competition, winning some medal. They encourage them. But in school, every children must become part of sports as they are, studying maths, English, any other subject. Because what I can say is that sports is the best teacher for lifelong one can have. And that is what the parents should also be doing. Because if you are, encouraging your children to choose sport, then you are giving him or her the best teacher for life.
Absolutely. I love the sentence you use that, sports is education as well, right? And as a parent I mean, I've been a soccer mom for the last 4 or 5 years, right? It's been my duty to take my son to coaching classes and all. And I've observed his progress from that day one to whatever day, right? After 4.5 years that I see him progress. And I have learned so many lessons just being on the sidelines and watching their team grow and play and struggle as under 6 students and then now thrive as under 13. I mean, there is just such a journey. I've seen maybe things that I could not have taught my son. It was not practically possible for me to preach and teach, but sports, just by the virtue of the way it is played, and especially soccer as a game, because it's a team game, I think the kind of life skills it can build, and I'm talking from the perspective of a mother of a only child, right? Because a lot of families in this generation, you'll see with only children as well. And it's become very common, but one common theme that runs in families like these is my child going to be collaborating with others? Will they be kind to others? Or if not kind, then at least will they share with others? I've seen that sports really brings that out in you, right? You don't necessarily need to be around just your siblings, because the players, the fellow players become your brothers and sisters, right? So I think that is a beautiful, beautiful experience I have seen. And also so many things, right? Trusting another person, because in a sport like soccer, everybody trusts the other person to do their part, right? So everybody does their part right, and then you win and you sort of aim to excel. So that, I think, is again something which I have observed as a bystander. But if you were to give your top three things that you have taken away from this, I know it's a very loaded question, because I'm sure there is so much that sports has done for you and shaped you. But what are the top three things you would say it has nurtured in you and it has nurtured in people that you've seen engage with soccer?
Like you have beautifully put the experiences, what you have gone through and through your child's exposure and experiences by being in football. See, for me, football is the best school and best education I got, and that's why it continues to be that way because I'm still learning. It is football is giving me all kind of experiences, which
Yeah.
is helping me to add value in whatever I do. The top things, what you can say is that you learn to deal with your failures. Yeah? Because the most difficult part today for children and parents is nobody wants to see failure, and everybody wants to succeed. And today, see today's generation, life is at ease for many ways. Yeah, not like say previous generation because they have to walk 10 kilometers to go to school, and all the struggles. And today, you remain in ACs from home to the door of the school to back, yeah, and everything is comfortable and everything you get, just you have to demand. And when you get into the professional life, you start seeing some realities where the parents are not there to support you when you are away, maybe out of country for your education. Then you see realities. And if you're part of sport or particularly football, you will learn to hard way, to live and adjust to any circumstances. And the team part, as you mentioned, like the collaboration, the teamwork, dependency, interdependency, and all of that you naturally it comes to you, and you don't have to see the words doesn't teach you anything. It's the experiences one goes through, and it becomes part of your DNA. You will not understand that how it has come, but while you've been part of sport, part of football, it really gives you that daily, and then it becomes part of your DNA, and that is where those children, those who have the experiences going through those training, those games, you're getting defeated, you're winning, you're celebrating, and when you are losing, you know that you have a second chance to win. Yeah, and that is where failureism, you kind of adjust your life and look forward that there is another day, there is another opportunity, and there is another window for
Yeah.
you to succeed. Yeah? Nothing is permanent. That is where the most important lesson to be learned. And then the more other important lesson to is that how you work in the team,
Mm.
which is very important because your success, your goals in life, you can think of achieving yourself, but at the end, you need a lot of collaborators in life, a lot of support you need, and it is give and take.
Yeah.
Yeah? And today, if you are in the corporate world, you say, "Oh, how big is your network?" Huh?
Yeah.
And network is equal to your network. Yeah?
Absolutely.
And that network doesn't come unless you are a team player.
Mm.
And that is where you get to understand, oh, if you want to score a goal, you alone cannot do it. Yeah?
Mm.
Even Messi, even Cristiano Ronaldo, or the best of players, they
Yeah.
need support. Yeah, they need somebody to assist them, somebody to, they will assist for others to score.
Yeah.
And someday you will score, someday you will not score, someday you will win, someday you will lose. Yeah? So those are very, very important. And then all the life skills and be disciplined, understanding, taking care of your body is very important.
Mhm.
Many people when they go to doctor and they find that it is now reached to a threshold. Now I have to start exercise. Now I have to reduce whatever and then it becomes too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, and understanding your body is very important. Yeah, and the sports gives you that opportunity to understand your body, the limitations of your body,
Mm.
and that becomes your lifelong partner for everything. So it's body, like what is the proverb, like health is wealth. Yeah, but that health can only come when you become part of a sport. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that is very important. And that is where the parents should not think that putting your child into sport means they are going to be champion athlete.
Mm.
No, they will be champion individuals. They will be champions in whatever they do. That is what you have to think.
Wow.
Yeah, if they have talent, they will definitely be champions in a sport, no doubt.
Mm.
But don't think, don't invest everything thinking that, oh, my son or a daughter is not progressing, you start comparing,
Mm.
oh, she is not good. No, they are good. As long as they are in sport, you
Mm.
have to support them. Don't start comparing because the worst thing you do is comparing. It is not about comparing your marks, with others.
Yeah.
It is very, very different. So therefore, you have to support them, and if you can support them, they will live their life independently,
Yeah.
and they will be the best support system you will have. Yeah?
Yeah.
That is what the exposure you give to the children, which is very important.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many nuggets of wisdom that you threw into this conversation. I want to recap some of them. One being, of course, that this expectation that we pin on our children. And I again come back to the whole concept of smaller families now. Like earlier, there used to be many children, right? So you could expect one would become an engineer, another a sports person. Some, you distributed your expectations. Nowadays we are really pinning, parents are pinning every kind of hope on that one or two children, right? That they should be a good singer also, they should be avid, they should be a public orator also, they should be sports people. It's just not possible. And I think just readjusting your expectation with sports, I mean, sports is a lifestyle, right? It has to become a part. And before sports there is another step of play. Okay, so I actually distinguish between the two, because sometimes we need to understand as parents that not everything needs to be learned in a professional way, or it need not be learned in academies, right? So one is earlier in the life, if we are able to give our children opportunities for free play, right? Just let them be in the park, get their knees bruised a little bit, make their hands dirty, whatever. That free play is also very important, I think, throughout life. But yes, if your child is showing inclination, or even if you have to introduce them to something, like my thing was only introducing my son to soccer, because after COVID, I felt we are all so locked up. What to see? There was just one academy open. So we just went for a trial class. It is just my good luck that he ended up taking on that sport like his lifeline, right? It may have worked for some, it does not work for some. But I think having that thought process that your child, like you said, right, they may not become a champion sports player, but they will become a champion individual. That is something that all the parents, I think, we need to readjust our thought process around. And also, one thing you mentioned was in terms of resilience, right? Children build a lot of resilience. And I have learned resilience. Like I tell my son that sometimes when you guys lose, I lose heart. But when I see you 5, 10 minutes after the match, you are again chatting with each other, having fun, like, sharing your tiffins and all of that. That tells me that no, it's not the end of the world, right? And somewhere I'm vicariously learning these lessons from sports from my child. I'm not per se a sports person. I maintain my level of fitness, but not really pursuing any sport. But I am learning these lessons just by being a bystander. So just imagine the kind of lifelong learning that will happen for children when they get into a sport like this. Now, a very essential thing what I noticed is important for resilience is also the approach of the coaches or whoever is your mentor. One thing I have really liked is the mentors that my son has got. Luckily, all of them have a very, very pragmatic approach to teaching, right? They will definitely make you sweat during the training and, really ask you to do the best. But on the match day, they are very calm. I don't see them, overburdening or overpowering the players. And, even after a loss, the coaches are very, I would say calm and composed and, looking at the next, what to do next, which I think is a wonderful way to mentor and coach children. This is where I want to ask you about the importance of the right kind of support and mentoring, and what differences have you seen specifically between India and Europe? Because, of course, the European nations are known for their love and performance in soccer. So, where are we going? How are things there? Now, let's educate parents a little bit about what they can expect if they come into soccer.
No, there are huge difference, no doubt, between India and Europe, but opportunities in India is only growing and improving year on year. And the more academies are coming up, more clubs are coming up in India, and there are, good programs. One need to choose good programs. That is very important. Yeah, there are, shops kind of scenario where they are selling hopes, but not giving that kind of services. But it is again, one need to do good research to understand the qualification of the people who are the coaches and how good the facility is, how good the curriculum is, and what are the ingredients of their coaching program. Or but it's again the problem is if you live in cities and it's again a problem of commuting, the traffic. I don't recommend children traveling much to go for a sport activity because then it's distraction. And the time they spend on road traffic is very distraction. So that way, one need to find something near to where they stay. Maybe 5, 10 minutes drive. That would be the best scenario. But then, unfortunately, the sports facilities are not that much available in India across, yeah? Whether it is cities, whether it is our villages or towns. Yeah? That's unfortunate situation. Schools also doesn't open up for community, providing their facilities to the nearby community as well. They are all become very commercial oriented. Therefore, many times, if the parents cannot afford, then becomes very challenging. That is also there. But then, my advice would be to, whatever you find experience it and then openly see that how they are running the program, and then also discuss with other parents and those who are using other academies and understand everything, because see the gap is huge in terms of coaches. The quality of the coaches still a long way to go. Because the coaches have to be facilitator rather than they are hard taskmasters.
Mm.
And dealing with children in sport, you need to be very supportive. Yeah, rather than you are like a guard there, just shouting on the children, and because children will only do mistakes, they are learning, and it is not a classroom situation like you are learning maths or English. Yeah. Therefore, the whole environment need to be very encouraging. That one need to see.
Mm.
Children must come back with no stress. That one need to see that, and their communication, the way they deliver, need to be organized, and
Mm.
they have fun at the end. Yeah, because see the whole detox
Mm.
the children need, because they are spending so much of time digitally. So this is a detox again.
Yeah.
Yeah, going to the field, spending time, and the parents, they can hide their mobile, but best way to hide their mobile is to put them into sport,
Yeah.
and that energy what they will put there, they will naturally get detoxed,
Yeah.
and their screen time will get reduced. So there are there's so many aspects to look into, because today naturally the schools are also encouraging much more digital time.
Mm.
Yeah, within school, outside school, all their homeworks are now digitized. You have to spend screen time is increasing. So
Yeah.
all that it therefore to have balance, yeah, this is must. So
Yeah.
therefore, irrespective of whatever of available, we just let children have playtime, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Playtime is very, very important, because the body need to move as their mind and brain is moving.
Yeah.
And that's very important. If the body is, not moving,
Mm.
then getting dusted. And when it gets rusted, your
Mm.
brain also gets rusted. We won't know, but
Mm.
then that's the case.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, this whole machinery of ours, I think we are definitely in a situation where we are underusing our bodies and overusing our minds. And this is where this equilibrium that needs to be there to nurture a good holistic soul is not really happening. And we need to bring back that balance. And also, nutrition is a big part of it. I don't know what you feel about it, but overall, the view is that Indian diets and Indian cuisines and approaches are not very conducive to, supporting a sport body. I don't know. What do you think about that?
so see again, like today's reality is also, the parents are working parents, yeah,
Mm.
and at home, maybe few days in a week, you're because you are tired, you don't have time, you are ordering,
Yeah.
or you're going out. There are so many compulsions of life, working life, and as you said, small families, it's very difficult.
Mm.
But again, it has to be like everybody need to practice good nutrition at home. It
Yeah.
is not with the children, yeah,
Yeah.
because children gets all that from their parents and their ecosystem,
Mm.
yeah. And sports, okay, being part of sports, yeah, you cannot force only children to eat something different from what parents will eat.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
therefore, it has to, because it is a three-time meal, or a with all the snacks and all whatever the practices you have. It is again it is a culture at home. Yeah, and that's very important. And nutrition is again you learn. by your experiences. But it's yeah, you can consult nutritionist. But then what see the background you come from, the cuisine you are used to, and the cuisine you know how to cook.
Hmm.
Yeah. Therefore, you need to use the right ingredient where there is balanced diet. Yeah.
Yeah.
The children, yeah, definitely you can't avoid fast food these days, but then how you limit it. Yeah. And how with sports, what happens, when they are with the coach,
Hmm.
they might tell the children, okay, if you are consuming fast food, then your performances might not be there compared to others. So
Hmm.
that's how you encourage them, yeah, indirectly,
Yeah.
yeah, rather than forcing them, because today's children, as the parents, we all know, you can't really force them to eat certain things, but
Hmm.
then it need to be strategic, what I would say,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, one thing in the strategy I use is children, I feel, listen to the coaches much more than they would listen to us. So if it comes from the coach that you have to do this, high chances are that it'll get followed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I want to shift gears a little bit now and understand a little bit about AIFF and how does it impact grassroots, play, what can, let's say academies or parents expect in terms of what will happen to the football scenario in the next 4, 5 years. Just a scenario understanding of, how is the government involved? What does the AIFF do? What are everybody's roles really?
See, the All India Football Federation is a governing body of football.
Mhm.
And under them, there are different state associations where each state they have their own football body, and then under state association there are district associations and then clubs. And
Okay.
that's the structure in nutshell. And then see, the government is also very keen to promote football, but then again, it's a state subject, therefore, state to state it differs. Some state football is being supported in a better way compared to others. But overall, the situation is improving in India. There's a lot of investment coming,
Hmm.
but it is still not significant, I would say. But there is a lot of activities coming from the grassroots level, where there is Blue Cups League, Blue Cups program,
Mhm.
efforts which to promote grassroots and attract more children from the age of 6 to 12.
Mhm.
More girls also are encouraged to be part of football, and then there are coach education where more coaches are trained
Mhm.
now, because in India there's still only around 15,000 and less number of licensed coaches. This
Okay.
number could go up to 1 lakh to 3 lakh to meet the demand and the potential of Indian football. And our clubs are also growing, but yeah, competitively, we are still not there. But in next 7 to 10 years, we can see a lot of progress and a lot of good players coming into the system because of the academies, more elite academies coming. There are good trainers, good facilities, and if you are a talented boy or a girl, then economically also the opportunities are good
Mhm.
because some players are even paid 3 crore to 5 crore to 7 crore
Mhm.
Indian players, and the girls are also getting some 20 lakhs, 25 lakhs, some, those are the best, but average they get 4, 5 lakhs as well from this season. So that way the opportunities are growing, the economic value chain is also improving.
Mhm.
But yeah, it will take time.
Mhm.
But more important is, don't look towards only the professional side of football,
Mhm.
but how you can make football part of your life, and that way, what you can get out of it is very important. And that is where, I say again that, football is a school of life.
Mhm.
And that's very important, where everybody, will get better being part of, and you will never, what I say is that never fail in life. If you are if you are truly passionate about the game and you have invested into the game, then you will never fail. You will only succeed, go in whatever you will do, and you will make your family, your community proud.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think I very much agree with this changing scenario of football. I shared with you recently, we had this opportunity to travel to Portugal, to Lisbon, where my son was, and a group of other around 20, 25 students from the academy had gone. They're trained under the SL Benfica coaches, and they also played matches against the local Portuguese teams. Needless to say, the Portuguese teams, of course, because of the kind of exposure, they really outdid, our players. But I think the exposure itself, and the learning and the camaraderie, like all of the Portuguese players, they came and shook hands not just with the players and the coaches, but with us parents as well. Like I was accompanied, so it was just a sweet gesture for them to come over and shake hands with us. And also just seeing their coordination, there was just so much of learning that happened. And I was having this chat with the person who was leading it. He's a FIFA scout. And I was very curious to know that there's such good players in Europe and so many children. It's like we Indian kids sort of grow up and breathe cricket, right? Like that. So I said, soccer is that way for you. So what is the point of scouting from outside of Europe? Like, what is the whole idea? But what I really got to know was that to reach at a professional level, to be playing there, not everybody wants to make those sacrifices. Not everybody has the wherewithal to do that, right? Hence, even people like the European countries are looking for, sports persons from outside who are dedicated and who want to take that route. So I think there is enough and more for everyone to experiment, and football is at that juncture where I think we really need to, everyone as parents, we need to encourage our children to play it, because it's a wonderful, beautiful sport. And our major focus of the country has been on one particular sport, and of course we are all lovers of that sport, but we should also look at a more holistic picture of encouraging many other types of activities as well, because otherwise we are limiting our children, we are limiting their potential, and we don't even know if they are fully utilizing their body and their spatial awareness according to what they could have done.
No,
So
absolutely, absolutely.
yeah, so I think that's a big one there. And yeah, I think some fun questions I wanted to ask. Who's your
Please.
favorite player, if I may ask?
No, mine is right now is Messi.
Yeah. Okay, lovely. I know my son, his favorites change, but I think recently it's Roberto Carlos. And he's also, my son is a goalkeeper, so Oliver Kahn has been his favorite for a very long time. What else? Anything else? Any fun nugget you want to share in your journey with football before we come towards a close?
Nothing as such, you know, it's like the road to reach somewhere in your goals. You need to be very persistent, and nothing is easy in life, and that is where everything. But yeah, nothing. I can't remember anything right now as
Well,
fun
I
part.
see a fun thing. I see the Messi book right behind you. So is that what it is? Are you reading?
Yeah, I have Messi, even Ronaldo's book also there. Even Pele is there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
I mean, these sports movies themselves, I think there's such a. I mean, when I was growing up, I used to watch a lot of sports movies. That time we used to have this Ashwini and all, like track racers and stuff, and we had to. I was always very fond of it. I never knew that there'll be more sports in my life later on through my son and all. But I think sports movies. So, any favorite sport movies that you can think of?
Yeah, see, recently, which Maidan, because it's Indian football and the success of our Indian football, where the golden era
Yeah.
of 50s and 60s. So Maidan is a good movie to watch and to see, how good we were in those days,
Yeah.
and then where we are today. But then again, the scenarios are different. But then those time it was even harder for everyone. But then it is like, it's really encouraging, motivates, and inspiring
Yeah.
to know all that, what the struggle they have gone through
Yeah.
to succeed in whatever they have achieved at the Asian level. So therefore, that again reflects that India has great potential in football,
Yeah.
and we need to really work hard, and we can really get to our golden era again.
Yeah, I think very rightly said. We watched the entire movie. So we took the kids from the academy as a group and we took them to watch it. And it was such a patriotic moment. There was so many emotions. It was quite a tearjerker in the last 30, 40 minutes, but really shows you that it's not about expensive studs. It's not about expensive gear or, like just the feeling of love of the sport is enough for you to achieve a lot of things. So as we are coming to a close of this interview, and I'm utterly grateful for you to have shared your time with us. This is the Parenting Truth and Dare podcast. So I always end with a dare. So we've unpacked this truth that sports should become a way of life, and every parent should really encourage it, and also keep their expectations in check. Your child will become a champion human being. That is the thought process you should go with. That's my nugget that I'm taking away from you today. But any dare that you want to give the parents, because after the truth, we want them to take some action. We don't just want them to take the gyan and do nothing with it. So, what action would you like for parents to take?
No, see, take sport as like part of the everyday thing. Don't be like be serious like. And if you are not never been part of sport, also it is not too late. Be part of it. And be and then in rediscover your childhood
Yeah. So
and
are you
and
daring parents to take up a sport? Are you daring?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Wow.
And that way, they will find, a very different, body, mind, everything. And they will rediscover themselves and they will go back to the childhood. And that is, I think, the best time of the human being, because you have everything and all the freedom and no stress. Uh, and that is where you have to go back
Yeah.
and you will feel much younger, much energetic, and and you will also understand your child much better. That's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we think that we forget that all the experiences what we have gone through, we are speaking that, but the chip and we want to see everything in our child the same thing, but then without realizing that they are still very young,
Yeah.
and therefore it is much important for you to go back and have fun with children and see yourself as of that age.
Absolutely. I think the gist of what you're saying is stop taking yourself too seriously. I was just sharing with some parents yesterday that growing when my son was young, I have climbed so many trees with him, and I never bothered what other people are thinking. If they are looking at me and they're making fun, how does it matter, right? I am doing this for our bond, for our memories. And same way I've experienced my husband still at his age, he's playing cricket. He goes every weekend for his matches, and this has been the case for the last, I think, 15 odd years. He never left cricket as such. So it's continued with him from childhood. And I know that that is what keeps you youthful, right? In your body, in your mind, in your approach to life. It keeps you as a lifelong learner. And the bonds that you make with these people that you meet maybe once a week or twice a week, those are really worth cherishing because they become your family, right? So many mental health issues we are seeing. In fact, it's sort of like a unsaid thing, but mental health issues are going to be the next big pandemic. So if you can use something as basic as sports to prevent yourself and overcome that, I think it's worth putting that effort. So parents, the dare is out there. You have to go and figure out a way to be a sporty person. I can share that I'm at least doing boxing these days. So I shift different forms of workout. One of them is boxing, and I thoroughly enjoy it. I think it's not just cardio, it's a lot of strength plus cardio kind of a thing. So, yes, that's out there. And once again, thank you so much for joining us. I will be very happy to take this message out to so many more parents who will benefit and who will look back at this interview and say this was the pivotal moment when we decided to make a change. So, thank you for your time, sir.
All the best, and thank you for having me, Ritika.
My pleasure. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you.